And just like that, we're live.
Huzzah!
Ain't that crazy? Hui, so, playing Sunless Sea. Isn't that fun? Where were we?
Yes, that's a good question. Um, as I recall, we didn't have any super pressing quests.
Yeah, like we have a commission to go to Mangrove for strategic info. But, like, most of my desire just revolves around getting a bigger ship.
Well, we can go and earn money.
It's true. Could go to the salt lines and make deliveries. It's a little rough on the cargo space, but, you know. We're mostly just
But
stocked up on fuel and supplies right now.
yeah, it is. You need to get a lot of space. I mean, we could go out somewhere and then get. I mean, usually you grab the salt line on the way back to London.
Yeah. Let's see. Mangrove. I think that was. Yeah. Way the heck over there. It was ways, for sure. Hmm. Hmm. Let's see, I'm pretty sure we did everything in town already.
I feel like you did.
Yeah. Uh. Yeah, I've only got strategic info. No port reports left. Uh. Hmm. Yeah? I don't know. I could just go to Mangrove and see what happens. Also wanted to visit Low Barnett, given that we haven't been there yet, and it's basically just right there.
Oh yeah, there's all the undersea stuff.
Yeah.
Sunless Sea.
Boy, it'll be nice when the anti-allergy med kick in. All right. Anyway, let's just go to Low Barnett and see what happens. We'll make our way towards Mangrove College, and yeah, it'll be cool. Probably.
Probably cool.
And we're diving. The bell tolls. Low Barnett, a sunken church with docking ports. Sediment has built up against the lower walls and long ago choked neglected crypts and crooked tombstones. The interior is sealed, yet the deep peals of the tower's bell can be felt even through the submarine hull. Okay, well, let's explore the church. Get a port report. There's no pulpit, the organ has been bent, broken pipes, but Low Barnet is still a house of worship, of a sort. Groups of sailors gather in the aisles, and the choir benches are clean, and face a makeshift stage. Lantern-eyed fish pass behind colorful windows of stained glass. The door to the bell tower is guarded by two burly vergers. The tridents are a nice touch. So we can witness a contest of stories or trade stories with the congregation. Witness a contest of stories? Why not? I don't think we had anything. I don't think I got a something is new in port thing yet, so we might not be seeing the full story here.
It's possible.
Congregation is gathered before the altar. A sermon, but there seem to be two preachers. A competition is in progress. A voluble visitor tells of the Sideways Regiment, a plunder's legion of trained crabs. First they present a mighty collective shell, then comes the onslaught of 1,000 nippers. Why, I only escaped thanks to a timely cloud of ink from my squid, which I befriended for precisely such an occasion. The unlikely story wins the acclaim of the congregation, whilst her rival slumps, disappointed. The visitor waves her top hat and proceeds to the bell tower. Its doors close behind her. You can ask about the competition, follow her into the bell tower, or go about our business. Surely we have to ask about it. You approach an apprehensive seaman who is staring into the distance, perhaps imagining marching ranks of crustaceans. You ask what happened here. The competition? The best story wins. Captain says it's all in the delivery, but you need a fine yarn to spin too. When you inquire about the winner's reward, his gaze turns wistful. If they're lucky, they get taken up. Wish I had a story to tell. Huh. Couldn't we just take them up with our sub?
You would think so.
Blah. Nose. Follow her into the bell tower. Let's go. What's in there? Wild riches or just a good buffet? Two surly vergers block your approach to the door. One points back at the congregation. Only winners allowed, he grunts. Next and soon. Guess we'll go about our business. Chimes. A few souls lingers, gazing at the closed door of the bell tower. You've just turned away when you hear the sonorous bong of the bell within. Its peals repeat every few seconds before becoming abruptly muffled, then finally silent. An excited murmur runs through the congregation. Although you keep an eye on the bell tower door, the winner does not emerge. Huh. Yeah, we need something awaits us in port to participate in a contest of stories. We can also trade stories with the congregation. Oh, you need port reports for it.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, we don't have any of those. Like, I wonder what they give you as opposed to the Admiralty. Oh god, my nose.
They give you stuff for here. It's like you use them to progress the storyline here versus getting, fuel and echoes.
I see. But money.
Indeed.
Anyway, not much else to do here. I guess we'll just go. Maybe I'll clear out the black area there.
I mean, you could probably do that underwater and then come back and with say.
With say?
Something awaits you.
Oh.
That's how it's, abbreviated in the lingo.
salty a sailor as you are.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know. Oh, you might actually need to be above water to get the mapping progress.
There is the small matter of breathing. Alright. Now we have something awaits support. And I've discovered basically F all.
Well, there's very little left. Oh, it's probably an enemy frigate.
Sure is. Pirate frigate, in fact. Ow. Rude. Stupid crack pirates. Now they're actually cracked. Anyway, let's loot them. Got a supply, 2 fuel, which is nice, and some sort of barrel. That's a firkin of prisoner's honey. Oh, that's nice. So, wrung by the lamplighter bee from the exile's rose. Wonder who made up all these names, remarks the able seaman Carget. Someone who has read just like too many books, I'm thinking. I vaguely remember there's something you could do with prisoner's honey.
In the Unterstrom, you can trade it for Blemmigans.
Alright. That is of questionable worth.
If you propagate 7 Blemmigans, the Unterstrom itself will reward you with a raid-drenched cinder.
Sounds valuable. It's a bat swarm. It's not a bat swarm anymore.
Tiny bodies.
Tiny, tiny buddies. Alright. Num 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 num. Ah. Right into a current. Don't remember there being a current there last time we were here.
I don't remember if they changed or not. Right.
Alright. Oh, we need a storyteller for that.
Oh, you didn't get enough. You need to trade stories first.
So I need port reports. Well, fine. Didn't want to be here anyway, I guess. Let's just stop at Hunter's Keep while we're here. Waste of fuel they were. Alright. We'll get a port report, of course. Not much has changed. And, you know, take lunch with a sister.
Yep. Any of them are fine.
Let's take lunch with Lucy. I think she doesn't give me terror, which is what I'm hopeful for. Yeah. Lucy leans over and whispers to you confidently a complex story about a butler, pig, and an inheritance. You don't follow all the details of the plot, but somehow the pig ends up in an attic and the butler in a vicar's bed. Candles flicker, dish enters and leave, and the wind butts gently against the window panes. By the time the plum pudding arrives, you're as cheerful as you've been in months. Lost 10 terror. That's amazing. Also got some supplies, a memory of the distant stores, and also the gods of Stone's attention, which is fine, probably? Probably, right?
Probably.
They're definitely not avatars of the sea gods. They just happen to be blessed. Right?
They're just the sea gods' Oshis.
I haven't caught any of their streams.
You're always on your fishing boat.
Well, you telling me we don't get Wi-Fi in the Neath? Oh, hello. It's a pirate penance. How dare they get a shot off? Punks. Alright, loot and scuttle alert. Lean pickings. Yeah, maybe not so lean. 3 supplies.
I was gonna say, you could repair your ship with the supplies.
Yeah. Before we get to half health, and I'm like, oh god, I need repairs. Alright, back to Demu Island. Let's get our port report, of course.
Of course.
Could accept a very cheap crew member where there something awaits a support. Or take tea with the factor.
I wouldn't.
May as well take tea with him. He could use the company because he goes crazy out here.
Sense.
Lost some terror, gained some fragments, gained a bit of supplies. Lovely. Let's see. Where else can we go? I forget what this port is. It might just be a light ship.
Yes, that's a light ship. You can even, if you zoom in further, actually see that.
I can't zoom in further.
And I don't think there's anything underwater there.
Oh yeah, it kind of looks like a rice grain next to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, could clear out the blackness here and visit the Fathom King's hold, or head over to Pigmoat Island. Though, if we're gonna go to the Salt Lions, we'll probably end up going back that way. I say head south and just see what we see.
Sure. We can call at Adam's Way this time.
Because we have recent news. assume you said yes.
I said yes. Actually, hit the map for me. You know, there might be something in underwater that zone
It shows us
that
even
we're
if
going into.
it shows us even if we're even if
think
we're
so.
above water, right? Jellyflare, come back. Come back. Come back. All right. This gets us a Z story, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, top supplies, bottoms, fragments, and
Yeah.
stories and such.
Yeah, let's just get a story and some fragments. I like it.
I go underwater. See what's found.
Say so. The observation dome is silent. Your navigator's breath is loud in the stillness. This looks like a giant pile of bones? We're at the Fathom King's hold. Well, getting close to it at least. There's a thingy. It's a bunch of trumpet things.
Big oxygen.
The vent discharges a cascade of bubbles and then collapses. Got oxygen. Ooh. An abyss. A chasm gapes below your submarine, descending into unknown fathoms. Let me blow my nose while we ponder this.
Afraid I don't remember exactly what happens.
So what I'm hearing is dive in and see what happens.
Yeah.
Explore the abyss. Your helmsman gives you a questioning look. You say nothing. You're unaccustomed to repeating yourself. With a trembling hand, she steers your vessel down. You sink into the abyss like a coffin into a grave. Stony walls rise about you, and your vessel's light picks out beds of undulating anemones. Good luck.
Things in here.
Okay. The walls of the chasm are as abundant as a garden. Rippling lawns of Posidna, copses of shadowed kelps, garlands of coral pulsating with tubular sponges, and here a vine bearing melon-sized nodules, the color and shape of pomegranates. You can retrieve and eat one of the nodules. True sailor will find the taste familiar, it said. The right will increase your iron by 20, but decrease your mirrors by 10. You'll gain the right, but failure will increase your terror. That sounds scary and not great. I mean, it is, to To be fair, it's a net gain of stats.
It is. And you can do several of these, I believe.
Yeah. Heart's quality is not looking super great right now. To go deeper, so let's eat one of the nodules? Sure. Why not, right?
Why not?
Success! The waters of the abyss are fogged with spores. You push through the walls, pick one of the nodules in return. Your cook splits it open. It's stuffed with fleshy seeds. You manage 7 of them before feeling intolerably bloated. They taste of oranges and gun smoke and iron and victory and the gray dawn of the morning battle, and your cook is staring at you. Were you laughing? We partook in the rite of feasting. We're not as you were before. Lost 10 mirrors, gained 20 iron. It's probably worth. Forsake the rite of feasting. I don't know what that means.
You can only benefit from one right at a time.
I'm ready to leave.
That's fine.
You drift steadily up out of the maw. Fed the crew. Oh, there's a thingy. What's the thingy?
It's just some torpedo parts.
Yep. Sonars picked up an underwater settlement in the southwest. Far to the southwest.
Yeah, that's Rose Gate, I think. Cycle.
This looks spiky. Discovered a ghoul. Oh, and one of those, things. A beloved. Hi.
Yeah, you can shoot it. You should shoot it.
Okay, I'll shoot it. Oh, those spikes count as hull possibly damage? I don't know. Not entirely sure. Defeated a beloved. The cloud of oily bubbles signals the beast ends. Its interminable refrain of moans and burbles and plaintive whistles finally dies away like a harmonium going down a drain. Fillet it for supplies, or dissect it for knowledge. Wouldn't mind more supplies. I forget what's best for these guys.
I don't know if we killed one of these guys before.
Yeah. Let's fillet it. Let's see. The fin! Wait, no, the flank. Or, wait, the liver. Oh, the eye. Oh, salt. No fruit de mer this. It's meat. There's no other word for it. Rosy, pink, and sweet, and tasting like the finest steak. No, like cream. Like marbled honey. And suddenly it's all gone, and only the smell of an abyssal brisket is left, lingering on your plates and fingers. Got a supplies. Lost 25 hunger. Lost terror. Man. Supplies weren't exactly amazing, but we did get a gooey loot box. More supplies. Keep it for a hungrier day. All shall be well. It's edible, if a little salty. 2 supplies, lost some terror. That was pretty great, actually. Aigul. Station is pinned to the surface of Aigul. Once it was a roving vessel, the Fortas Kettle, and floated freely from place to place. Now it's stuck on spines of a fluke rock. assemble a port report. You gather a description of the fortress kettle and a survey of its resources. You scrape away a little of the sealant, the color of amber and the texture of wax that keeps out seawater where the hull is pierced by the spines of agul. You sketch the arrangement of decks and hatches so far as you've been able to reach, but about the population, you cannot offer as much detail. The tomb colonist declines to be identified, and the traveling postman just laughs at you. Okay. Bribe the first mate. If we have
We need a solace fruit.
something. Acquaintance with the first mate. I see. We need solace fruit. And that's about all we can do without solace fruit. Fuel's surprisingly cheap down here.
Source supplies.
Yeah. Must let me nose again. I wouldn't mind picking up a handful of fuel here.
Yeah, I'm getting a little low. I mean, like anywhere where fuel's cheap or, close enough to London prices, there's no reason not to pick some up.
Yeah. May as well. Well, we saw a ghoul. That's pretty cool. It's a ghoul. Feel like I should.
Go get the Fathom King report.
Yeah. Maybe I can spend my sap. That's what we call it now, because we're Zailers.
Oh, not say.
Something awaits you at port. Say, I guess. Sure.
I mean, sap also works, but
If we want to
say
be,
is what people have used. I'm afraid the nomenclature is already set.
yeah, but what if they're wrong? They're not wrong. I'll use say. It makes sense. Hi. Okay, Larkin's Port, named for the most enterprising of drownies. Compile a port report. We can descend for an audience if we wish. Get drowning pearls, or a white molly flower. I don't know what any of that does.
I think that there's much point in talking to the Fathom King
Unless what?
I don't think there's much reason to talk to the Fathom King unless you have a reason to talk to the Fathom King.
I see. Your mic sounds a little weird, by the way.
Okay.
Guess I'll permit shore leave. That was a terrible idea. Got terror and we lost hunger. So we shouldn't use our say here then?
I mean, we can't.
Man, your mic is terrible. Anyway, I'm going down. The porter has the skin of a shark, and she has a drowned woman's eyes. It is not permitted to look at her hands. Yes, she rasps. That story is sufficient. She opens the valves of pearl and permits you to pass into the conduit. The throne cyst. This is the salt-blown heart of the hold. The Fathom King floats in his throne, a gem-starred bowl of sea stone. the size of a banqueting table. He's wearing a dressing gown of purple brocade, soaked dark with salt water. He leans his chin calmly on his hand. Beneath the surface of the water in his throne, his hidden regions pulse constantly, insistently. An expensive way to gain crew. Come to plead for a Zaylor's life. I'm good, I guess. Can listen to a Connigan emissary. There's a visitor from the Timon clan in a gray robe patterned with leaping fish. She describes event at the Khan's court, skirmishes with the Chelanet, Z-Beast attacks, etc. You can ask a boon. You brought the king a story gift. You may ask a gift in return. It's impossible to know what you'll receive. May as well listen to the emissary. I feel like this might be a port report or something, actually. I guess we'll see. Valuable information. As the king nods and awards the emissary a pouch of drowning pearls, the hour of audience is past. Thorn-armored guards escort you back to the surface, but the emissary's words and the king's questions have taught you a great deal. 20 fragments and strategic info. Ooh. That's worth. We can turn that into better stuff.
Vital info.
Yeah. We need more mirrors, actually. Or move in the great game. I forget if I can get mirrors with anybody.
Yeah. I think it's first mates.
I don't know why we have to transition every time. Ah, yes. Increase my mirrors. Sure. Also, we have a Searing Enigma now.
I mean, it's up to you. Her quest line is very. I mean, her quest line is kind of like the end of Sunless Sea. In that it will actually like delete your save game. In the sense of destroying all of your histories.
Why would we ever do that?
Because you get to go beyond.
I see. Except I don't at all. What?
Well, you need some more of those Syrian enigmas to understand. Sorry, Captain.
Alright, well, we'll leave that for the moment. Let's go to Park Carnelian. Suppose we can go in there underwater too. Nothing's stopping us. Oh, that's a thing? It looks... It just looks... It...
What's that wreck in that thing?
There is high risk, because our hearts are low, but whatever, we'll see. Failed. You and several crew don diving suits and hurry to help, and as you try to clear a safe path to the survivor, his struggles grow frenzied. By the time you reach him, he's foolishly consumed the last of his air. There's nothing to retrieve except his remains and last belongings. Got a supply and a terror, and gained a lamentable relic. Unfortunate for him.
Indeed.
What's this thingy? Oh, it's another beloved. Hi. Don't look at me with those sorrowful eyes, please. If that's what they actually are. Well, flowing it for supplies was certainly good, but I'm curious about what happens when we dissect it, so let's dissect it. 2 hunting trophies and 36 fragments. A job half done, and there I was hoping you'd found me a challenge, the surgeon sighs, setting aside a cleaver and researching pliers instead. The beloved's underside is a network of old and overlaid scars, as though it has been disassembled and stitched together over and over. The thing is more patchwork than creature. Who or what could have had the power to put it together and send it on its way? That's a great question. I hope I never find the answer to. Oop. +5 terror. Oh god, that's a whirlpool I don't want to be in. And also a boundling that is stuck in the whirlpool. That's another whirlpool. This place sucks. I hate it. I think the boundling is like actually stuck. Oop, not as actually stuck as I would prefer. Ooh, go away. I mean, I'd love to kill you, but... Oh, hey, another wreck.
Oh, another survivor.
Yep, another one we're not gonna save, apparently. Mr. Boundling, please go away.
Do you want to, you should turn off your light if you want to actually, like, lose him.
Well, actually, I just wanted to slow him down until I could get him in get a firing solution on him. Oh, witherweed is damaging our hull. Oh, that's what that hissing noise is. I was hoping that was just oxygen.
And it's just a little hull damage between friends. It doesn't really do much damage.
It doesn't, but you know. The corpse is a mound of twisted metal and flesh, its mottled skin further marred by the gaping rends inflicted by your weapons.
If you take the metal, you might heal a hole.
The metal is strong and sturdy. You have need for it, or carve it up for provisions. Let's tear the cage. Oh yeah, you gain 10 hull, 3 hunting trophies, and 50 fragments. Holy cow. A merciful end. Removing the cage's back-breaking work. Rods of steel run through the boundling's inflamed, swollen flesh. Its body had warped to fit its cage. Even its red eyes are distorted and pulled out of alignment by a band across its face. Before carrying the reclaimed metal away, your engineer wipes frothy slime off it. She gestures to a stain. It'll take a bloody good sanding to get rid of this. Alright. Feels like we're close enough to port where I want to surface. Also, I need to blow my nose again.
I should definitely surface so you can get that over the side. Submarine.
What was that?
I said that you should blow your nose over the side, not in the submarine.
Badum-tish. Thank you. Alright. We'll take call at Hartscross House, where the London governor is. The governor is very, very busy, and Attaché offers you a bowl of sugared puffballs and explains the work the governor does among the natives. Gotta keep 'em happy, what? They are, after all, they are tigers. They are tigers, aren't they? Alright.
I've heard that said.
Let's see. Can influence affairs. I'm not sure what that does.
If you want to take over Port Carnelian.
Oh. You need vital intelligence to do any of this. Interesting. Insert Khanate agents. Shore up the governor's rule, or broker an alliance of tigers. Huh. Can also improve this spy network again. Or seek intelligence. Our spy network is not very good at this. Let's see if they have any needs that are easy to fill. Bait. 2 secrets. I don't have any secrets, though.
Oh well.
Can pan for sapphires. Why not? You succeeded. Braving the jungle's violet spore drifts, you find a narrow stream. Kneel among the red-capped agarics and spot its banks. Doesn't he with sapphires, as the story promised? But an afternoon's panning yields a pack full of glittering shards. You got 34 echoes. I mean, better than a kick in the teeth, I guess. Let's see, supplies and fuel are at least relatively cheap. We could also buy that solace fruit if we wanted. So we needed that to bribe the dude.
Yeah, I mean, you could get that and we go back.
How many do I need? Just the one?
Just the one.
Alright. Fine. Let's go bribe him. Pick up a bit of fuel on the way. Okay. Could buy coffee beans as well. Not sure how much I care to. It does sell well, but if I plan on visiting the salt lines, I don't want to fill up my cargo too much.
Yeah, I would not buy it.
Yeah. Alright. Back to the spines. The very normal place with the very normal spines. Between the 2 giant whirlpools that I hate. I hate them. I hate them so much. Oop. Right into a current. That's fun. see what that is later.
I not just I don't remember, but they might not last when you go to port.
Guess we'll find out. Bribe the first mate. The crew can't show you around. The first mate keeps the hatch keys. They rarely leave the engine room, but they'll come out for solace fruit. We have some fruit for you. Gratefully received. The first mate's features are softer than the average Londoners, as though they've become part rubbery man. Their skin is marked in dozens of places with shiny, calcified ovals around which the skin is reddened. You offer them the solace fruit and they receive it reverently. They don't eat it in front of you, but withdraw through a hatch that is usually kept locked. They're gone a long time, and far off you hear a man's deep laughter. It's a surprising sound in the whispering ship. At last the first mate returns, fingers stained. Solace fruit. In smaller quantities, delightful and refreshing. In larger quantities, one of the very nicest ways to die. Anyway, we now have first mate sensitivity. Cool. Alright, we can observe the first mate and research. The kettle was a research vessel. Now the first mate sometimes engages in, quote, research on the fluke spines that pierce the ship. This room is blocked by a thick spine at waist level. The spine's purple-black, but the crew have been working at it with planes, grinding away a silvery powder. The powder is collected on mats and sieved into bottles. Our export, the first mate explains, goes to Station 3, but that's not what we came for. The first mate touches the spine, and for a time their spirit is absent. Then, from one of their few patches of unmarked skin, they grow a needle-shaped protrusion and snap it free. A memento of what I saw when my mind was with Agul. You now have a needle of Fortes. So the guy touched the spine and then grew a needle. And now it's ours.
Yep.
This place is weird. Okay. Press the spike into your own flesh. Know what it knows. Little worse than a tattoo, surely. Why would I... What?
You don't want to know more, Chris? To know what it knows?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
We can ask the first mate for helping finding the regret of the sensitive brother. The Imperial sister awaits an answer, and she has set a rendezvous at Hunter's Keep.
Yeah. Remember we brought the person to Scrimshander? And she asked us to go to Egel and find out what her brother's regret was.
Right. I guess we may as well, huh?
Yeah.
Into the Fortis Kettle. The first mate leads you through hatches usually kept locked, down into the depths of the Fortis Kettle. They begin to limp more evidently the further you descend. At last you come to the engine room, where a spike of Agul jabs through the hull. The engine is thoroughly destroyed, its furnace coals, its great wheels will never return again. The surface of Agul is exposed to your touch. It shimmers. We make it beautiful on purpose. Why are these in parentheses? What does that denote? There's a shiny silver patch on the spike. We allow the silver to be harvested. Touch it with one hand. Touch our face.
Alright, Chris. It's just the gigantic fluke talking to you.
Oh. Cool. You're no longer standing in the engine room. The tunnel is skin tight and you descend face first. The wall presses the back of your head, urging you downward. You should not have come. The entry point of Agul is regret. No one enters Agul without. Not today, you can't do this today. Maybe some other time. Or descend. Agul is made of needles and this needle is a straight. Okay. We were in the engine room and now suddenly we're sinking down a tunnel.
Yep.
Okay. Sure. Let's go. further. Why not, right? Well, there's a lot of reasons why not. But let's see. Sharp, thirsty, dry. There's the scent of green, bitter things, of fermentation. Cactus pulp renders an acceptable wine. Someone once died in a desert, and you're traversing the cause of their death. They lived long enough to regret. Here's the memory of a dying man seeing a vulture overhead. The sky. Okay. Begun drilling for regret, apparently. The tunnel branches. We have a very, very bad chance of succeeding this. Or we can leave. Uh,
It's probably not too bad if you fail.
probably. What's
Be
the
my
worst?
guess.
What's the worst that could happen, right?
Die.
A tear. Fluke regrets. The skin of the tunnel is rubbery, and the rubbery men do not do what they're supposed to do. We try to improve them. Among humans, they are sad. We should have made them with more teeth. Among flukes, they disobey. We should pierce them with more spines. The passage circles on itself. It leaves you back where you began. But older, time does not stop. Cool. That's cool. That's great. Thanks. Thanks for that. One more attempt. Nah. Okay. I'm good. You draw your hand away from the spine, and at once you're restored to your own body. The tunnel no longer surrounds you, the subaqueous pulse no longer beats in your ears, and there's a light in the engine room, even if it's only the dim glow of the ship's lamp. Okay. So we failed at finding the regret. We have to succeed that to find the regret.
Yeah, I figured.
I mean, there isn't zero chance we'll win, but it is a lot of extra terror. Yeah, well, maybe not that much extra terror. I don't know. I'll give it 5 tries. Theoretically, at a 30% chance, it should guarantee we win, but, you know. Statistics. Oh, we did it. Okay. Deeper, you narrow your shoulders, press your toes and your knuckles into the tunnel wall, and squeeze left and down through a passage in fragments of amber. They gather what we wish to know. Here is the smell of a cloying perfume. A woman left her husband for a scoundrel. In a few years, she was poor and alone. He seemed like a good man. How could I have known? Of course she knew. Her husband offered to take her back, but she could not endure his forgiveness. We have his regrets also. He minded her absence much more than her unfaithfulness, but he could not persuade her. Okay, cool. We have to keep going, huh? Only if you feel strong. From here you cannot surface until you've found what you seek. Let's try it. Do you want to die down here in the dark? Death is nothing to fear. Do you want to live down here, squeezed between one misery and the next, so that you can barely move your limbs? We prefer it. Has your nerve failed you? You have not moved. Come on, it's a coin flip. Okay. You intend to move and the tunnel moves you. A fresh red memory. She stood still when she wished to go. She answered questions from the man with the knife-shaped smile. She was afraid of him. She pretended his questions were questions a sociable person would ask. She was more afraid of being discourteous. He did not kill her. After, she was angry at herself. Anyhow, for having her fears out of order. She had a new tongue installed in her mouth. In the presence of trespassers, the new tongue says, I dislike you, I fear you, I wish you would go, whether she bids it to or not. That's not normal. Only forward exists. Do you regret continuing? It's too late. Yeah, I did kind of regret continuing, to be honest.
Eigel is of regret.
It's so narrow in this passage that you can't feel anything. Like a professional mourner 2 funerals from retirement, you have no true feeling remaining. Even proxy grief is hard to summon. Oh, wow, we did it in 2. That's kind of amazing. Night regrets. Election the length of a hat pin. It would have been a baby. Collect what you came for. Will you be pierced by the brother's regret, or note the regret but leave it where it lies? It's guarded by nacreous layers. This is not for you to take. No, this is what This is what we're here for. Grab it. What's the worst that could happen? The secretive brother was a clerk at the Admiralty. One can regret even clerical mistakes. He fell behind in his filing, so he burned a sack of port reports and lied when his superior asked where they were. The lie went undetected. The loss of reports caused no great trouble. Nonetheless, the regret rankled. The brother had learned integrity from schoolboy novels. Confession offered no cure. It would not retrieve the reports. It would only disappoint the superior and open the whole department to censure. Sometimes cowardice and common sense lead to the same end. The brother's regret caused more trouble than the deed. We cured him. Have you undone the cure? Get out. You've done enough. Okay. Ponder how best to deliver your message to the sister. Grow the brother's regret into a spine. Pondering surely can't lock us into a decision, right? There are ways to reach her. She said she'd wait for you at Hunter's Keep. She'll want some kind of proof of her brother's regret. Your words alone will not do. You could go there directly and give whatever message you think is best, or send a dream by way of Irem. You've heard they made dreams there, or perhaps there's a way by the Isle of Cats. Not that there would be an easy or sensible method. I mean, a spine would certainly be tangible, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Sure. How bad could this be? You grow a spine just next to your thumb. It's challenging to clip off, but you manage, and then file down the spur. There is a little blood and some itching, and the spot remains sensitive. Cool. That's cool. That's real cool. We could share it, but that would relinquish the means of delivering it to the sister. So we're not going to do that. Since we have a say, let's observe the first mate with a pilgrim. Maybe that'll do something good. Oh good, we gained another needle. Cool, and 20 fragments. The first mate leads the crocodile to a makeshift bed. Attendants wrap the crocodile's hand in silk and set them on a spike of agul. The crocodile weeps copiously through the eye holes of its mask, then it goes to sleep. After relinquishing a regret to Agul, one needs a good rest, the first mate says, ushering you out. An hour or two later, the crocodile comes out again, cheerful and refreshed. It departs in its submarine. Its deposited regret is not left behind for long, however. The first mate attends the engine room. You gained another needle. Yay! Oh boy! Those are great. I assume. I'm going to blow my nose while you tell me if it's a good idea to consume a needle of Fortis.
I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm curious enough. Let's try it. Memories layered with memories. You remember a woman who's persuaded herself into marriage. She never fell in love with someone else, or betrayed her husband, or did any of the usual things. She lived a dusty life and wondered whether she had even had any appetites to satisfy. Faintly overlaying this is the first mate's reaction. Pity, annoyance, and a tangle of feelings about a different broken relationship between themselves and the wounded captain. Seen through one mission, and we lost a needle. Okay. That was relatively harmless. Relatively. Well, we can go to Hunter's Keep now if we want, but, you know, we have other things to do first. And, you know, it is also just basically at Fallen London, so we'll do that later. Well, that was certainly an experience. I hate it. Let's launch. Hey, bones. These do not go away when you port, apparently.
Apparently.
Scattered bones. We can scavenge, we can gather, we can pages. Pages are the best shot. Let's take a look. Failed. Gain a tear and a fragment. Gosh, darn it. Did I fail all 3 of those at a 79% chance? Oh, hi, beloved.
Probably.
Beloved, are you just gonna take it? I guess.
Let's confuse.
Anyway, let's fly it for supplies, because that reduces terror, and we have a lot of that. Lost 5 terror, gained a supplies. And a gooey loot box. 2 sailors complain about the meat size dramatically when the cutlery is applied to it, and they are probably engaging in mischief, but your crew become nervous but satiated. I assume this would have relieved us of our hunger if we had any, but we just gained a terror. Cool. Let's get out of here. Or we can go to the Untershroom. The Untershroom is a possibility. What is this? Oh, it's another boundling stuck in the whirlpool. Hi. Kind of feel sorry for it. Really is just a sitting duck in there. Hi. Over here, I'm shooting you. Could you,
Can't get to you.
can you at least try to swim out of there so I can get your stuff? He's not swimming out of there, like at all. I don't think he can. Going into the whirlpool's a terrible idea, isn't it?
I don't remember how bad it is. I think it damages your hull.
I mean, yeah, I think it rapidly damages your hull. Can't possibly be worth the loot. Alright. Gonna need to surface for air. Alright, let's go to the Undershroom, see how things are there. promised sea. All through this place the song of the drownies lies shivering sweet along the void. Ooh, big ol' crab. Hi. You coming over here? Oh, he charging. He diving. He dove. He dove.
Dove.
Alright. A hiss of horror from the lookout. The glim lamp at the front of the ship is sputtering and arcing, fizzing with blue light. Oh, this isn't the crab. We got a terror event. Just as we were hitting the crab. Rude. Look, shut up. Oh, we got a terror. Come on now.
You did tell him to look, shut up.
Yeah, but that would cost a Z story. Anyway, let's butcher for supplies. 4! It's quite a few. And a flesh loot box. Woo! Oh, some mushroom wine. Seems intact, although who knows how the taste may have altered. Perhaps you won't tell the buyers where you found it. Yeah, good plan.
Come now to the underroom.
We can call it crab-aged mushroom wine, and if they ask what that means, we'll just, like, scoff and be amused that they have not heard of such a thing.
Yeah. How pedestrian.
Exactly. To the underroom. Trade honey and supplies and honey for supplies in Blemigan. Tempting. So, obviously we gotta get a port report. Slow survey. And, sure, let's get some Blemigans. Why not? We now have a docile Blemigan and some supplies. Here are the piled slabs of native fungus, mauve fungus flesh atop them, like an attentive dog on a plinth. A watchful Blemigan. They want new places, the Shermer explains. Too many Blemigan here. Plant them in 6 new places. Mother will be pleased. Cool. Visit the village real quick. Got a memory of distant shores. They're still talking about how they're scared of leaving. Not much new here.
Yep.
Our Blemigan continues to not want to leave at all, ever, at any point. No shops. No nothing. Let's go.
No, nothing.
We'll stop by at Adams Way. On the way to Mangrove College. Do wish they had a little bit of fuel for us, granted. I mean, 8's almost certainly enough, but not as much as I like. Could stop by the lightship, get some very expensive fuel.
They might sell fuel in Adams Way.
Maybe. It's certainly worth a look.
Yeah, they do.
False star flares in the cavern roof directly over you. Flares and fades. Passing by Gardener's Rock. Carmine tint to the waves. We're approaching Adam's Way, where flows the mountain's blood. Whatever that means, yeah. What is that? It's a Republican dreadnought. I mean, we might be able to take it, but...
I mean, we could take it, it's just gonna probably do damage.
yeah. Eek! Hey, go away. Adam's Way. They do sell fuel. It's pretty cheap too. That's nice. That's very nice,
Yeah.
actually. Buy 10 of those.
Sell the mushroom wine.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
them for not asking questions.
Alright. Alright. So, A Tale of Recently Fallen. The Graces are always eager for news from fallen London. A new day. Is their interest strategic, or do they just enjoy hearing about London's miseries? Regardless, they permit you to dock. The day has just begun. In a town square, a yellow-robed priestess plants a seed in a bed of black soil. No sooner has she planted down the soil than a tiny shoot pokes forth. By mid-morning it will be a sapling, and by lunchtime a budding tree. By evening end it will wither and fall. You must be back to your ship before then. Adam's Way. To the south, the Elder Continent and the 72 cornucopian kingdoms of the Presbyteriate. Are the stories true? Rivers of honey and castles of ivory? Who can say? Foreigners, that's you, are forbidden from the interior. The closest most can get is Adam's Way, a shouting, feasting, thieving riot of a port. Lots we could do, certainly. Put a Blemingen ashore. I mean... surely a simple mushroom will not attract the attention of the gracious, right? Of course not. The southern mountain heap seeps around the slopes of the hill, and the soil of the elder continent is rich and strange. If the Blemingans can survive in it at all, it should flourish. Lost our docile Blemigan, but now we have Adam's Way propagation. Huzzah! Oh, and that was it. That was all we could do. I feel like I wasted the trip here.
Huh, I didn't realize it wouldn't end it yet either.
Well, that sucks. Let's just leave. Hey, there's that dreadnought that tried to kill us. I mean, I could probably sneak behind it. Maybe. Or not. Maybe.
Also, it has a half gun.
It has
Half gun.
Oh. Meaning it can shoot behind it?
Uh-huh.
I see. It's unfortunate. So it doesn't seem to want to use it right now. It's kind of
Well,
fun.
you gotta be right in its aft. You're sort of on its side.
I think the helmsman of the dreadnought is a little confused. Burning blue. This again? Shut up! We're busy! Look at that. Not a scrap of hull damage. Investigate the hold. What treasure did these villains take? A tightly sealed crate. Oh. Well, what was it? 7 fuel. Holy cow. Waxy light lumps sheened like paraffin. Hell droppings, the bosun opines. Don't know what they're made of, but they'll burn long and steady. Better than coke much. Yeah, that's a lot. I regret buying fuel now. Because, of course.
Well, hard to know you're about to get 7 of it.
Yeah. God, I want a bigger hull so much. This is very weird weather. The killing wax wind blows from the south. Embers lager. Engines labor. Sailors cry out and fell.
The mustache.
I see it. The behemostache. Can't go any faster in the whacked winds, unfortunately. This place sucks.
Dude.
Kaboom! He appears to have dove.
Yeah, it slows him too, so gonna have a hard time getting you.
I like it when my enemies have a hard time getting me. I forget what we did with these last time.
Flesh and mustache is the best one.
Yeah. Clears our hunger, I'm sure. Xoriant treasure. Take its teeth as trophies and its bones for corsets. Got 2 hunting trophies, a Stygian ivory, an outlandish artifact, and 2 supplies, which is pretty good. We can also open up unpreprocessing mass, but apparently my only choice is to fling it overboard. I think our hold is full. Yeah.
Probably.
Yes, our hold is very full.
Yeah, well, it's probably unfortunate.
What should I ditch?
I don't know. You can just the ivory if you want. I need the ivory and 1 fuel.
We did just get the ivory. Okay, let's get out of the wax wind.
Could also use some supplies to repair your hull a bit.
We're only 25 points shy of full.
Yeah, but I mean, it won't be wasted.
It's true.
I mean, your hold's so full, and you have 16 supplies, so.
You know, first mate, when you give me logic like that, it's very much undermines my authority.
Sorry about that, sir. I'll make sure to use less logic.
Good. You hear distant bells. What even is this way?
Varchaz. The City of Light. Go like directly south.
Jack-a-dandy stack. Yep, there's Varchaz. And Port Erdonmez. The burning white light of Varchaz. The walled city of Varchaz is a tangle of green vines and luminescent fungal flowers, slow blooming around moldering stone. A quincunx of carved stepped towers rise over the walls and pour burning white light into the bleak sky. A rough-shadowed path leads from the docks to the mirrored gates of Varchaz. Two towering carved stone lamps throw their light on the angled mirrors, and a blue-cloaked guard stands in the reflected pool of light. The city is a beacon against the tree-bushed, sprawling darkness of the Elder Continent. In the far distance, a vast mountain glimmers. Okay. Compile a port report. Tone down the details of the light and its brilliance. You don't want to inspire envy in the Admiralty staff. Okay. We can choke on the smell. The sailors wave us over, sitting on some upturned crates on the dock. Ask the guard a few questions. Or tell the guard you wish to enter. Just do it all in order, I guess. Just quietly choke on the smell. Flowers have white, waxy leaves which leave powdery traces on your fingers. The light coming from the city has the same camphorous quality, and the smell, perfume worn too many days on the body, unread books left to turn into ink-stained pulp, a garden drowned and rotting in still water. Cool. How about the game? You're not thinking of going in there, sailors gawk at you in unconcealed horror. They take turns telling you gruesome stories of Varchaz, which they no doubt invented whole cloth. Some are convinced that the Varchazai render sailors into tallow to light their city. Others say they steal shadows and sell them to their masters. All of them are convinced that they blind any strangers who dare gaze too long into the city's secrets. "We're just waiting to be paid, then we're off," one of the sailors says, nervously fingering a mirror chip. "Only got one eye left, and I want to keep it." Okay, ask the guard. The blue-coated guard only acknowledges your existence when you step out of the darkness of the path and into the light from the lamps. Up close, the guard's blue cloak is threadbare and mossy along the hem. A pattern of embroidered suns runs along the collar, but the gold thread is dull. The kohl around her eyes is smudged. "Well, Thomas," she asks, "you going to ask your questions, or are you just going to stare?" Her tone is brusque, but her expression is curiously eager. You do not think Varchas receives many visitors. Correct her politely. "My name is not Tomas." The guard looks scandalized and tries to stop her ears. "All those who are not Varshazi are Tamas. You've been touched by darkness, and it's taken your name." She fixes you with an admonishing look and adds, "It's very ill-mannered to pretend you still have one." You begin to see a little why Varchas is not often visited. It looks like you'll have to get used to being called Tamas if you wish to enter. So, what about that light? All seems wasteful, possibly ostentatious. "We must always walk in Mahir's light, so we burn our lamps night and day to banish darkness from the mirrored city," she tells you proudly. "If we let darkness corrupt us, we would not be Varshazai any longer, but Tamas, like you." You wonder, is that so terrible a fate? Her mocking laugh answers you before her words do. "Yes, would be terrible indeed, Tamas, and before you ask," she adds, "no, I do not have any desire to leave Varchas. The rest of the Neath has fallen from Mihir's grace. I have no wish to join them." So about you, do you like your job? Does anyone? "It is a great honor to guard the mirrored gates," she snaps defensively. She gestures to the edge of a pool of light illuminating her post. "It is very dangerous. Even a small stumble and I could fall into the dark." Her voice goes thready. "I would be banished from Mihir's grace. I'd lose my name. That's why they only send the bravest outside the walls." Ask about the city's customs. Best to know before you flout them. Easier to plan an escape route that way. "Don't touch the mirrors. Don't even look at the mirrors," she says, her voice hard. "And try very hard not to dream." Were you expecting something along the lines of "don't murder anyone only wear red on special occasions"? Still, you nod and smile. I'm satisfied, or maybe the guard's voice is just beginning to grate a little. Alright, I guess I'll just tell her I wish to enter. She makes a mark in her ledger before tinging a brass bell. The mirrors of the gate rearrange to give you space to pass, but never once allow shadow to touch the guard. "Our ways are not yours, Tamas. Remember that, and walk in the light of Mihir." Your eyes are blinded by the brilliance of the light. The verdant rot smell is even thicker. The heat of so much flame and reflected light presses oppressively against your skin. Your head pounds. It's a few minutes before your eyes adjust and you can look around. Brass lamps and gilded sconces hang from every wall, and phosphorescent fungus grows moss-like upon doorways and ceilings. Cunningly arranged mirrors catch every droplet of light and diffuse it till each cobblestone and rampart of the city is drenched and blazing and utterly without shadow. Who do you speak to? We can speak to the firekeeper, dressed all in saffron. A pair of thick fireproof gloves dangle from a silver chain at her waist. The white-cloaked guard, the sun embroiders on his cloak are picked out with gold thread and the edges jeweled with carnelian. The fungus carter, her carts piled high with fungal blooms, and jars of algae painstakingly scraped from the surfaces of walls. Or the jeweled turbaned youth. He's winking at you. Is that a furtive wink or a flirtatious one? Well, only one way to find out. Or we can continue further. I don't know, let's talk to the firekeeper. Why not?
Yeah. Although, I mean, I think you may sometimes be limited. Like, you only talk to, like, pick one option among them.
Yeah. I'm too important to play guide to you, Thomas, she tells you before you even open your mouth. I am the keeper of the Western Principal Mirror. She points up at the enormous multi-faced mirrors set atop of each of the city's 5 towers. I'm only here because I'm looking for my idiot brother. He's probably busy pouring wine down some pretty dark-eyed boy's throat in a tavern. Is it a matter of great urgency, you wonder? He's late for his lamp checks in the Sacred District, is her terse reply as she hurries away. If the Agnahori find out, he'll be lucky to end up a lake dredger. The first tower bell has sounded, and you gain the memory of distant shores. Okay, yeah, so we definitely are on a time limit. Guess we can talk to the jewel-turbaned youth. Sure. He looks utterly overjoyed to make your acquaintance. The bangles on his wrists flash as he presses his hands together in greeting. My friends and I would be honored if you would attend a small gathering with us, Tomas. We're so eager to hear about the world outside of Varshas's city walls. Seems an innocuous enough invitation, but why does his gaze dart around so anxiously as he tells you about how to find his mansion in the Eastern District? That's a great question. Well, we have an invitation. It'd be rude not to accept. Let's continue our explorations into the Outer District. Ah, there it is. The mansion of the jeweled turbaned youth. A pilgrimage to Amdari. What? Amdari's interest, respect to the guard, a dour-faced nurse's approval. I think it has something to do with the mansion here. I guess we'll
It
see.
has to do with everything there.
To the mansion of the jewel turbaned youth. Well, he did invite you after all. That's what I'm saying. You're not entirely sure what you were expecting from the jewel turbaned youth's invitation. Perhaps a candlelit dinner and a genteel seduction. It turns out to be an evening of card games and chilled wine with his rather eclectic collection of friends. But as the wine is drunk and the cards are played, the gathering takes on a certain political tone. A raggedly dressed artisan begins complaining of the Agnahordi's trade restrictions. A novice priest points out some contradictions in Mahir's mantras. A stone carver questions whether his daughter should also have to follow in the same profession. Will you, the jeweled turbaned youth stares at you, licking his lips, tell us a story? You can decline firmly. No. We gotta tell them something. Tell them of yourself. Might be nice to be honest, especially to a group of people you'll never have to meet again. Invent a fanciful tale. Tell a wanderer's tale. Or return to the city. Say, no, just tell them of myself. You wet your throat with a tart wine and fix your eyes on a carved lintel and begin your own somewhat convoluted tale. At the end they look slightly dissatisfied and slightly relieved. We were hoping, the jeweled turban youth clears his throat, that you would tell us, he pitches his voice lowers. Lies. You are a little insulted. After all, it's not as if you make a habit of telling strangers of your past. I mean no insult, he adds placatingly. We have only true stories here in Varshaz, and no inventions. No made-up tales. Lost some terror, gained a memory of distant shores. I see. Well, you have a good chance of inventing a fanciful tale, so... Sure. We have failed. Perhaps the wine is muddling your tongue, or maybe the fungus smell is too distracting. We can't seem to weave together the threads of your story into a whole. Your hero, a dashing Z captain, turns unexpectedly into a drownie, and so you pack him off to the tomb colonies, much to everyone's confusion. Could try again. I mean, we have a pretty nice chance of success. Hey, there we go. Your crew would have enjoyed this tale and probably would have added their own asides and embellishments. Still, you couldn't have hoped for a more appreciative audience. They gasp and moan and shudder guiltily as your story comes to a climax. Afterward, the jeweled-turbaned youth takes you by the hand. His own is shaking and his skin is clammy. Oh, we're forbidden from trickery of storytelling in Varshas, he tells you hoarsely. I've never heard anything so sublime. We got a searing enigma. Holy cow. That's amazing.
Indeed.
Well, we now have the Jewel Turban's youth invitation. But we still need the respect of the guard, a dour-faced nurse's approval, and the Angaboti's interest. None of which I know how to get. But I
Well,
assume
see, like you've got
visiting the nurse.
the hospital,
Yeah,
guardhouse. Yeah.
let's go to the hospital. Are you feeling a little fevered, or do you hope to learn medical secrets? Perhaps you just enjoy the moans and flushed faces of the sick and suffering. Alright. Offer the services of the haunted doctor, or the brisk campaigner, none of which I have, or my services, which I'm terrible with, unfortunately. The dour-faced nurse glances at you expectantly. Which ward are you here to visit? I mean, how bad could offering my services end up, right? Maybe she'll just have me carding linens. Failed. Gained a terror. Apparently they do things very differently in Varchas, or maybe your anatomy is a little rusty. After you make a few fumbling attempts to put in a catheter, the dour-faced nurse declares you a menace and banishes you from the ward. Okie dokie. Maybe next
I'm gonna
time.
go with didn't get her approval.
Yeah. Evening after the fifth bell, each Tamas is assigned a room. Blight is endless and merciless. Will you sleep? All visitors in Varshas are given one night's accommodation in the city's only inn. It's a handsome stone mansion arranged around a pleasantly cool courtyard. Frescoes of city life are painted on the walls, and given how few visitors Varchas hosts, you suspect the inn is usually used by philandering locals. Evening falls, or does it? In the town, 5 principal mirrors are mounted on coiling spring mechanisms and alter their angles subtly to create the impression of evening. Across the city, the firekeepers throw pinches of colored powder into the lamps, and the quality of the light yellows to a softer brightness. We can, I assume, talk to the wine-mazed lamplighter. He's dressed in saffron robes and is indeed pouring wine down the throat of a very attractive dark-eyed boy. You could tell him his sister's looking for him. Go to the kitchen. Smells of cooking mingle with thunderstrop, but you aren't going to let that put you off your food. Go to the courtyard. Cushions are right around a marble fountain. Musicians pluck their instruments under the shade of twisted yellow leaves. Could just sleep. The bed is low and wide and draped in cotton sheets stamped with vegetable dye patterns in muted greens and blues. Or don't sleep. It won't be difficult to stay awake, but the lack of rest will take its toll. I saw the other lamplighter. I should at least could tell him his sister's looking for him. Seems polite. Let's do that. He starts up in horror, spilling burgundy red wine everywhere. His young companion looks irritated. I'm late, he shouts. May here forgive me. The Angahordi is going to skin me alive. He pumps your hand in gratitude. Thank you, Tomas. I won't forget there. Here, take my arc jewels. You've gained 3 outlandish artifacts. It's pretty nice. And I now have more acquaintance with the tardy lamplighter. Uh, hmm. It's, probably hungry at this point. Could go to the kitchen. Why not? The inn's cook makes thick spiced stews of fungus flowers and lotus root, eaten with chunks of boiled cassava and rice imported from inland. But it's the light hungry fruit grown in the city which makes your mouth water. Tart-scented oranges and bruised yellow bananas, pineapples bursting with juice, tender coconuts with a silky white flesh scooped out and sap sweet on the tongue. You do not eat meat, you ask. Do you not eat meat, you ask in wonderment, and the inn's cook calls to me here for strength. It's forbidden to eat the flesh of living creatures, he says. Luckily, the Varshazai don't fancy the seafaring life. It's night, but there's no darkness. Time to sleep. Alright, I can sleep or not. I mean, I don't see any reason I wouldn't sleep, so... Sleep.
Well, just the guard said, whatever you do, don't dream.
Alright, you fall into sleep easily despite the bright light, but your dreams are full of whispering, glittering smoke mirror vapors that coil into reflection warping shape. You see your limbs bend, your skin slough, and your eyes twist, and you wake with your heart pounding. Your nostrils are full of the fungal rot smell of Varchas, and your body is as it always was, but somehow it's not as comforting as it should be. We now have Dreams of Smoke Menace and 10 Terror. Oh, I see. Yes. Outsider time in Varshas is strictly rationed. Each morning at dawn, the guard visits an inn to eject any Tamas they find. They're polite, but very definite. Return, the guard tells you, but not yet. With that, they usher you into the darkness beyond the walls, and you blink mirror dazzles from your eyes. It's cold out here. You gained a terror. Lovely. Okay. Well, that's all we can do here. That sucked. I don't like this place. Alright. Tempted to explore a little further east and then go to Mangrove College.
So, east. Yeah, that's fine. You're gonna find either. I think is Clear Castle have to be there?
We'll find out. Those birds of paradise?
Yes.
Let's not. Those parrots are absolute savages.
Yeah, they're less. When you encounter them, they kind of.
Oh, hello. Glorious Treadnought, huh? Okay. They have very long-range weapons.
It submerge if you want to get away from them.
Could, but they attacked me, and now I must make them pay.
Very reasonable.
Destroyed a glorious dreadnought. Scuttler! Finished opening a cache of curiosities. What do we get? A filthy scrap of paper, creased and grimy. That's it?
Wow. Oh,
We got a tale of terror. It's a page from a journal. I think we saw this before.
yeah.
That sucked. Can't believe that's all we got. I expected some fuel and supplies at the very least. That's a hand.
I go north a bit. The entrance.
King Eater's Castle. Okay. Discovered Pennington. Yay! Echoes stalk you through the colonnades. An old Vora city lives here in the far reaches of the Sea. The priests are long gone, but sacrifices are still made. Oh good. Perhaps you've come here to make a sacrifice. Perhaps the sacrifice is you. What are we doing here? Let's compile a port report real quick. Silence, desolation, the sense of an impending and terrible mistake. Everything is horrible. It's not really an appropriate title for a formal report, is it? Let's find something a little more clinical. So we have the sixth witness. An act of burning faith. Expends fuel and supplies to lower your terror. Lose your mind. Offer your thoughts to the altar. Don't do this. Eat your crew. Not all of them will go easily. Do not do this. This will destroy all your crew, any human or near human officers, and the struggle will wound or even kill you.
Yeah, I advise not doing that. Especially as a member of your crew.
That sounds like cowardice to me. Or construct a fugilant impeller. Under directions from the mechanic, your crew places pieces of the slabs of black ivory together, and the ancients were said to assemble stone walls without mortar. Sometimes they must saw a piece in half, or braid its size to make it fit, but the work proceeds with surprising speed, and the impeller begins to take shape. Squat, heavy-shouldered shape, like a scarecrow built to resemble an engine. I don't think it's engineering anymore, the mechanic confides, possibly witchcraft, but I don't really mind. We would need an unsettling sage, mechanic's secrets, 40 ivory, an element of dawn, and a casket of sapphires. Right. We can't really do that until we get way more hold space. Like, way more.
There's no downsides to an act of burning faith, I believe.
I suppose. Offer all of your Z stories. This may take you elsewhere at the cost of all of your Z stories. Choose it only if you're desperate to be somewhere else. How much? I mean, we've got plenty of hold space now. I don't feel the need to reduce terror this way. I really don't want to talk to the sixth witness, but I guess I will. Startled by your approach. I'm sorry, I didn't expect anyone else to be here. Sit with me. No, don't look east. I only dare because I know I'll see nothing, like the five before me. It's my first time at sea. We do not get out much, but you must have traveled far to end up here. Tell me your stories. You barely begin before she interrupts. How about the Gant pole? They say they see the future. If you go, could you ask what the seventh will witness? I'll happily give my life to prepare the ground, but to know would be the greatest of honors. Okay. Well, I hate it here.
Yeah, it checks out.
Guess we can look for the Gant pole. Maybe it's even nearby.
Yeah, it's actually just to the north.
Oh. Well, then maybe I'll lean north.
But also, I mean, why didn't you didn't lower your terror?
I said I didn't want to.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't want to. Well, I mean, we have plenty of cargo space, so it's not like I'm worried about running out of space because of excessive fuel and supplies right now. Certainly wouldn't be crazy to lower my terror, but
You might hook around to the right of this island. I think is where the.
what the fuck is that?
Oh, you should move away from that. It's the tree of life, I believe.
Oh, Tree of Ages. Yeah,
That's what it's called.
yeah.
I mean, granted, if you kill it, you get some sweet ass loot.
Yeah. It shoots back.
Yeah.
I'm good for now. Oh, we discovered the nativity and the edge of the map. This music, though. Whew. Save your docks. Sound of constant motion is like pebbles on a beach. Scuttering reaches. Ah! Intricate webs stretch into a darkness where the shadows are never entirely still. Gossamer threads stolen by the breeze tickle the goosebumps on your skin. 1,000 unseen eyes promise a million more. Hate this. We cannot compile a port report without giving the mushroom wine. Also, the haunted doctor. Please, I must leave this terrible place. The sorrow spiders will not take me back. Please. I mean, if you want to come aboard, sure. You can just sit around. The haunted doctor hurries aboard the ship. He pauses looking at the cursed wasteland of Savior's Rock. Lady says I would never be able to get it back once it was thrown away. I see she was... Never mind. Is this my cabin? Yes. It's more than I deserve. Okie dokie. Very normal. Can trade supplies for silk or trinkets. An almost entirely legitimate silk trader urgently requests your help with the delivery to Fallen London. Trinkets. Just trinkets, confirms the man holding out the box. From inside comes a slight cracking sound, a hiss, and a scratch that hints at nail on wood. Trinkets, he repeats, not meeting your eyes. We now have a box of trinkets. Just trinkets. Definitely not sorrow spider eggs. Deliver them to Fallen London. This is a good idea. Anyway, we have a say, so let's assist with the festival prep. Assistance of an experienced captain and crew will hardly be turned down. Traders of the Nativity have little practice showing appreciation, but at least put in an effort. In particular, they not entirely accidentally let slip the secret of the Accord of Grace, a hospitality granted visitors by the generous neighbors of whom they will speak no ill. They do, however, hint that this only applies to travelers arriving through the port. Those unlucky to run around the rock who run aground on the rocks can consider themselves. But no, no. A sorrow spider might hear something, and they would, of course, never say. Got 10 fragments. We are now a stranger to spiders. Cool. Pity I don't have any mushroom wine for the report. Uh, 23% or 17%. This is such a terrible idea. It's just really terrible idea to go there. There's nothing but spiders. Hey, well, let's leave and never return. Because there's spiders. Like, a lot of them. Like, any amount of spiders you could easily consider an upsetting amount, but this isn't even come close to an upsetting amount. Hello, what are you?
Crab.
Giant crab. An elder angler crab, my goodness. That's a lot of hit points. Should I not?
It is. You can take it. I mean, it's gonna take a while, but you can take it. You can see the little spiders moving around them.
No, yeah, it is. Oh, what a wonderful thing you had to point out to me just now. Thanks, first mate. Appreciate
Better the spider
that.
you see than the spider you don't see.
I guess. We're having restless nights apparently, but we're busy.
Oh, I'm just gonna leave now.
Yep. Just gonna ignore the dreams. Lose a terror. Excellent. Alright. The shell is shattered. The glowing Elysee lies silent. We do have enough supplies. I don't know what's best. Probably just let's just dissect it this time. You gained 180 fragments. Wow. And 3 hunting trophies. You and your ship's doctor clamber over to the beast as it lies in the lee of your ship. Its blood is a curious blue, and the blood, too, is touched by luminescence. It's a female, but there are no eggs. And what's this on its belly? Someone's chiseled 7 marks between 2 horizontal lines, like pillars supporting a roof. That's weird. What's this? It's the wreck of the Nocturne. Shrouded with the shadows, wrapped in webs. We would need foxfire candles to even get near it.
Yep.
Okie dokie. Guess we'll leave. To Mangrave College. Didn't see the Gant pole. Wonder if
It's north of you.
Well, maybe we should visit that then. See if we have the... We have a reason to. So why not?
Chelinate is above is first and it's above water, and then the Gantful.
Let's see. We approach the Chelenite. I hear unsettling noises.
That's probably fine. Although the Eater of Names does sail around here.
Something I should avoid, I assume.
Well, unless you want to kill him.
Maybe when we get the frigate. Chelenite, a shell as big as a wild dream. Waves lap the slabby sides of a vast turtle shell bigger than any cathedral. Chelonites loaf on wooden docks around the shell sides, staring sullenly. Lamps hang like decorations in a festive butcher's window. All around you, the sea is rank with scraps of ancient flesh. Compile a port report, sure. The limits of meaningful expression. No matter what details you try to record, the stench creeps in around the edges of the sentences. The Chelonites watchful despite the reek. Movement among the miasmic scraps of long-abandoned monster carcass. Frequent duels where stink is thickest. This place sucks. It's a very low chance of the crew being able to survive shore leave. Opportunity from the redolent fisherman. Or tales from the bone.
You can talk to him. He wants you to go to the Gantpole.
Right. An opportunity. For the flesh. He slithers, drool pouring from between his rotten teeth. The Gantpole where the beathies die. Bring flesh. We sell it to the turtle earth. Fresher meat. Big monies to make. The Redland Fisherman has requested Neath from the Gantpole. Cool. Someone's tales for the bone. Someone is crying unusual wares. Follow the sound. Why not? A scrawny man squats beneath an awning of Gant-colored whaleskin. Bring me your tales, he cries. Tales for the bone. Pay the chronicler to inscribe a Z story onto a hunting trophy, and you'll receive an outlandish artifact. That doesn't seem particularly worth it, to be honest.
It's generally worth it.
Is it?
Yeah. Sea stories are generally about 10 echoes, hunting trophies are about 20, sea stories are about 20, and a outlandish artifact sells for about 100.
Fair enough. May as well click it. Whistling, the chronicler does his work. With a flourish, he returns you a beautifully engraved piece of bone. A good tale, he concedes. Good enough. He leans closer. You're a Z captain, aren't you? Bring me a tale worthy of the bone, and I'll shape you something worthy of you. I've long sought the tale of the glory's end. Glory is what we call this beast. He gestures around you at the turtle's shell. None still live from those days when we slew her, but the saying is, the tale still lives on the history's beach. Bring me that tale, Z Captain, please. The Scrimshaw Chronicler has asked you to seek the tale of Glory's death. So, we can make another one, but we don't have any special stuff for him.
Yeah.
Ugh. Get a barrel of answered fresh, or obtain a doomed monster hunter. The Chelonid is stiff with monster hunters, awash with the Pelagian juices that give them strength. A good number of them are doomed, too, but you'll need to provide for their families. If we give up a captivating treasure, we can get a doomed monster hunter. What the heck is that?
It's a monster hunter who's doomed. Don't worry about it.
I assume that's not worth one of our very precious captivating treasures.
No.
Okay. I hate it here.
Yeah, the doomed monster hunters are, believe it or not, ammunition. Get Icarus in black, and it fires deals 500 life damage to a creature.
It's upsetting.
So, yeah.
Where the Z goes to die. The submarine surfaces in a pocket of air in the middle of the giant stone heart. You're not the only new arrival. A midnight whale lies mortally wounded on a small beach of bone and blubber, moaning softly. An elderly woman in ragged red robes is carving its flesh, attended by a few disciples. Guess we'll approach her. A demonstration of haruspicy. The art of divination through entrails. Not the most pleasant or reliable way of seeing the future, especially with when the organs in question are still warm and oozing as she plucks them from the great beast. Whatever she's looking for, the focus it demands exhausts her. A sudden sound, rumbling from the tunnels, the ventricles, the sound of a stampede, a cry of "Protect the mistress!" as a flood of naked old men and women wielding primitive bone harpoons charges towards the whale. Old sailors fixated on one goal: feast on the Z-flesh, whether the Harspex is finished or not.
BRB 1 sec.
Okay.
It's okay, Captain, you got this.
We can defend the fading Harspex. The sailors look old enough to collapse at a slight breeze. We can join the attack. Sailors have to stick together, or just stay out of it. It's none of my business. It's definitely none of my business, but I mean, an old woman is being attacked by crazed sailors. Why not? A rancid rout. You stride into the melee. The Harspex and her disciples are outnumbered, but your contribution to the fray is worth at least 10 of the elderly attackers. Their harpoons barely leave a scratch. Wrenching one from the nearest attacker, you easily hold the geriatric horde back with little but pointed gestures. The Harspex returns to her work. From the corner of your eye, you see a little of the method behind it. Just a little, but enough to see the traces of a pattern in the grooves of a small ivory slate. The names of the heirs to Nidha will begin with M-A-R-I, which is rebellion. She frowns, unsatisfied. The whale moans its last as she finishes up. Her work done, she thanks you with a nod and has her people allow the old sailors to approach the slowly cooling carcass. Hunt phthalates, behemoth stashes, beloveds, or triskelants to bring more beasts to the gigant pole. The leathery carcass of a hollowed-out beast lined the ventricles of the stone heart. Ancient blubber bubbles up around paths of bone and hide the squelch with every step. A distant drip carves eternity into hours. Guess I'll compile a port report. The Admiralty is unlikely to take it seriously. Ah, that favored hazing method of many a veteran sailor, saved for particularly wet behind the ears recruits. Ask your captain to deliver this to the Gant pole. Go to the Gant pole and find my pocket watch. Tell the crew tonight we dine at the Gant pole. A hilarious jape when not standing in the blasted place and hoping someone will pay for recent news from it. Oh, that'll be fun. Cut some flesh for the Chelinate, which, I mean, we did say we would. The carcass of the last beast to expire in this place still has plenty of meat hanging from its bones. Pickled and pungent, your crew would face starvation 100 times before adding this still quivering mass of glutinous blubber to the supplies. To the Chelinate, however, it probably counts as haute cuisine. We now have a barrel of rancid flesh. Yay! We'll speak with the fading harspec. She sits in a ghoulish tent made of the bone and hide of a long-dead beast, saving her energy for the next great behemoth to reach its grisly end. She sits in a ghoulish tent. Yeah, okay, we had that. Hi. Alright. She sits with her eyes closed. A pair of disciples are wielding damp sponges, doing their best to moisten her cracked, bone-dry skin. Her fingernails have not been cut for decades. They rattle as she beckons you forward.
I am back.
Hi. Gonna ask about the harspec person. Oh, or I can ask about the traveler. That is part of why we came here. This must be the person the sixth witness meant for you to meet. The fading harspec shakes her head. I have seen nothing of this, nor have I asked. If I have it in me, once I have my answer, I will attempt the divination. You'll have the opportunity to find the sixth witness's answer later on. Later on? Ugh. Fine. How about you? How long have you been down here? The passage of time. 10 years? 100 years? 1,000? It's all the same after a while. The flesh keeps the body together, the mind, well, that's a trickier matter. I have coped, others have not. You've seen them. The oldest of the sailors with no warm bed and loving family calling them to shore. They're as much creatures of the sea as any that swim in it. The heart welcomes them and they embrace it. It's their fate. But I see a far more important one in your future. Oh, goody. What about the art of harspicy? There's nothing to be predicted from meat but the quality of one's dinner. A wheezing laugh escapes her lungs. In Babylon, the quivering livers of 100 sheep showed us the fate of the first. In Rome, Caesar only asks the right question. It's the life that leads to answer, not the meat. Down here, centuries of life. So many secrets, but the great beasts of the sea pass on so rarely. I cannot hold on much longer in the hopes of finding what I seek. Hunt Thaliates, behemoth stashes, beloveds, or Triskelgants to bring more beasts to the Gant pole. It seems like that's all I can do here for the moment. No more questions for now. And I guess that's just it. We can buy fuel surprisingly cheap here. It's not the worst idea, I guess. Supplies are also cheap. Although, like...
Indeed.
It's not the worst idea. A naive merchant came here in search of glory. He now makes his living selling less rancid meat to any customer he can find. Fun. The harlot fly? A bucket of tiny but razor-toothed serpentlings. We could sell for hunting trophies. I don't even want to know. Let's just get back to the Chelinate real quick. There was a thing, but whatever. I'm good. I mentioned I hate it here.
You did.
Alright, here you go. Fisherman, it's only one barrel, but it's a very large one. Thump. The redolent fisherman dips a finger into the quivering blubber and tastes it with shivering enjoyment. He pays you and gets to work selling it by the cupful. It's impossible to tell if the Chelonnet prefer it to their customary diet of rancid turtle meat, but it's at least a different flavor of terrible. His customers are still licking their lips when the barrel is drained to the last oily drop. We got 200 echoes. That's a lot. We can't just, like, do that again, can we?
You can. Several times at least.
Ah, yes, I see. Trade in flesh goes up every time we do it. But, like, every time we do it, we get 200 echoes. So... why wouldn't I? Loo-doo-doo. Cut some flesh. Oop. You can just already taste the just shy of rotting. What's this thing? It's like the carcass of a crab. Sure is. What's in it? Oh, we succeeded. Holy cow. Radiance. You don a diving suit and approach the shining shell. Gold light washes over you like the tide on a sunlit beach. Your hands are illuminated in pale fire. Gain 53 fragments and lost 5 terror. Hey, that's great. Discover Rosegate. I what? Oh, there's a place here. Just like literally just right here.
They just happen to be right next to each other because of how the tiles lined it up.
That's a mine. It's a giant unexploded mine. I'm just gonna not. Rosegate. Not so much a port as a shop with a dock. The crotchety tobacconist bends over the shop counter, annotating a large sheet of paper. He glances up at the dogged apprentice and bites down his cigar. His face is blackened with soot. Last batch blew up on me. Welcome back. Let's take a pamphlet. Neatly printed histories of the shop are stacked high on one of the display cases. A notice encourages visitors to take one. The pamphlet describes Rosegate as a cigar shop with a factory on the upper floor. True. Here they produce and sell an unparalleled variety of cigars. Also true. The tobacconist is described as a world-renowned figure, respected for his dedication to his craft and the brilliance of his creative vision. And the pamphlet boasts that his genius will forever alter the tobacconist's art. Well, that remains to be proven. Guess we'll witness a reunion. The crotchety tobacconist reaches across the counter to shake your hand. Our patron has forsaken us. He's only interested in his project to the south. He left my apprentice to starve, and he hasn't arranged a delivery of the materials I require. I've run out of rubies to try to convince him otherwise, which makes your intervention all the more propitious. He puffs a great ring of smoke into the air above your head. It takes several moments for the halo to disperse. Captain, we are on the verge of a tremendous breakthrough. I'm about to create something beautiful, something noble. A cigar that will burn underwater. I think I finally found the right mixture. He taps the sheet on his counter. It's covered in incomprehensible scrawling, equations beyond the mathematical. 3 flavors, something robust, something bitter, and something luscious. Once I have them, I can finally complete it. So, we need a taste of kettle steam, a taste of mild coffee, and the taste of stale pastry to complete this. And apparently we can, like, already do laboring for the robust flavor. The crotchety tobacconist glowers at the rumbling crate. I need you to shift the bloody thing upstairs. Help us get up there. Help us get it up there, won't you? Sure. One labored step at a time, the 3 of you carry the crate upstairs. The apprentice takes heavy breaths. The tobacconist swears so often you're uncertain if he breathes at all. Eventually, you make it to the workshop and chain the cargo into the corner. You unfinished bastard, the tobacconist huffs, stretching his back. So we got you now. Okay. Cultivated a robust flavor. Okay, we need more. So we need 2 ambiguous eoliths to extract the robust flavor. We need 3 romantic literatures to get inspiration for the luscious one, and an unread log for the bitter flavor. I see. This is again one of those points in the game where I wish there was an in-game notebook I could write this stuff down in. That is some expensive fuel.
Indeed.
Okay, so there's eoliths. And other stuff. I think this is just the mine again. We can't. If we run into it, we just blow up, I assume.
Something like that. I think you get a challenge to not blow up and get like torpedo parts.
Ah. Cool. Mayhaps not, though. What's this over here? It's a beloved. Stuck in a current. Kind of feel bad for it. Ah, yes. We can send it to the Gant pole.
Indeed. By the way, I'm gonna have to wrap things up.
How soon?
Ish.
Soon-ish? I mean, it's okay.
Like now-ish.
Oh. Well, okay. Let's, in that case, I'll head for the Chelinet and, wrap things up. Anyway.
Okay.
We'll let that go to the Gant pole, progress the quests there, and, deliver our wonderful barrel of rancid flesh to the lovely denizens of the Chelinet for an absurd amount of money.
They better be giving us that much money.
just the smell alone. Another Z-Beast corpse afloat. So much carrion. We approach the Chelinet. Here you go, folks. Yep. 200 echoes. The redolent fisherman has requested meat. Customers are... Yep. Well, they're still willing to buy it. That's great. Love that for us. I guess we'll visit the Gant Pole again. But for now, we save and call it a good Z voyage, I would say. Oh boy. I hate this area of the Z a lot. Like a lot.
They're just spiders and lots of dead, rotten flesh, and
Yeah.
a king eater castle at the end of nowhere.
Yeah, that for some reason convinces you that eating your entire crew is a good idea. Anyway, you gotta go. So let's just wrap up here. I don't see anyone I can raid right now, so I guess we'll just call it here. So that was fun. This area was fun. Yes. And, yeah. That's all I gotta say about that. And, my next stream will be on Tuesday. Possibly Monday. We'll see how, the day shakes out. But that's it. So, yeah. Hopefully I'll see you next time. You have a lovely day. Say bye, Taho.
But
Peace.